why is it that we struggle inside normal relationships? A few reasons, I think. First of all, we expect bliss. That's potentially the main reason. That's a good reason, though. I'm not against expecting happiness and bliss and satisfaction inside the relationship. However, if we expect just happiness and satisfaction inside the relationship, we're setting ourselves up for a lot of trouble. In the rare occasions where people are actually together for a very long time and do love each other deeply and care about each other still, all of them will tell you about the struggles and the challenges they've had to build a proper relationship. So expecting bliss is one way of looking at it. Another way is that with the certain technological advance, couples are much more atomic. When you decide to have a child, chances are you're not as close to your extended family as you would have been in ages past. People travel a lot more for work, and therefore couples become atomic. They have to rely on themselves much more and not their family and extended family. And that's a lot of pressure to handle. If you have a career, if you're part of a culture that glorifies working long hours to get ahead in a career, then you have a lot of pressure on your personal time to maintain the health of a relationship and take care of a growing child. It's something that couple being atomic combined with a culture that tries to get as much time from you to spend at work as it can get away with, spells trouble. And did our ancestors struggle as much? Did our parents struggle as much? It seems to me that relationships are in flux. They're changing from one generation to the next. And in our generation, there have been some quite significant changes. So I think we can all remember either our parents or our grandparents who behaved inside the relationship by different rules than we do now. Society had a lot of pressure for you to get married, perhaps at a certain age, and to stay married. There was a lot of stigma attached to breaking off a marriage because, believe it or not, the idea of being happy and fulfilled, psychologically, receiving affection, sexually, all of these things, being fulfilled in a relationship, is relatively new. Of course, we are plastic. We adapt our behavior to what society tells us we must behave like. For most of human history, relationships were about at least property and transfer and inheritance. They were certainly not something that you would allow young people to decide upon. They were decided by their families. They were a family affair with a transfer of wealth, and everybody was expected to do their duty inside that relationship. Their duty was to produce offspring. The husband's duty was perhaps to produce resources, while the wife to take care of the home. So there have been examples, and still are examples, of societies today that have very different views on relationships and society and property. And where this link doesn't exist, people are a lot more free when it comes to their relationships. There is a tribe in the Amazonian forest, actually several tribes, that believe that a child is conceived literally from the sperm, the ejaculate, and as a result, a woman would allow many men to ejaculate inside her when she wants to conceive a child. And when she becomes pregnant and when the child is born, each man who contributes acknowledges their contribution and shares paternity in the taking care of a child. That's what the mindset was like. If you would have spoken to a person perhaps 200 years ago and you would have said said something along the lines of satisfaction and fulfillment, they would have looked at you very strangely, and they would have quickly set you straight that there's no place for satisfaction and fulfillment into a duty-bound existence inside a relationship. I would venture a guess that many of the couples of our ancestors had it just as bad or even worse than us when it comes to mutual understanding inside the relationship. They simply had to endure more because it was a lot less advantageous to break up, not just because of society's stigma, because of survival. Because it would have been very difficult for a woman to survive in a society without work, without the resources of a man. Where there's many ways to deal with relationships, and one should seek satisfaction, pleasure in life and in relationships.